All right, man, peace. So, brother, this is going to be the latest entry into the series, Never Let a Woman Maintain You. And as I constantly cite, there's a scripture in the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 25th chapter and the 22nd verse. For those of you cats out there who happen to have a King James Version 1611 Bible, and I'm talking to you, so-called black man, it pretty much lays out everything that you need to know about relationships in two chapters in the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 25 and 26. And in verse 22 of chapter 25, it tells us, a woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. What does that mean? Never ever leave yourself in the position where a woman has to sponsor you, because whether she shows her disdain and her disrespect early in the relationship or late in the relationship, it will come out. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a woman being disdainful of a man that she has to provide for, because a man is supposed to be the provider. Once you show that you have no interest in being financially stable, the woman is going to detach from you mentally. She's going to unplug from you. And that's when she's going to show you all the disses. She's going to be disrespectful, dishonest, disloyal, dishonorable, all of those things, and you will have brought it upon yourself. The main thing that a man always has to do is maintain his position of power. Now, it's up to you to decide what your platform for power is going to be, but that's the only thing that women respect is power. All of that nice guy shit has to be left in the rearview mirror. If you're a so-called nice guy, prepare for a lifetime of confusion. As we're going to see over the course of this segment here, this person, Jennifer Pogan, is basically going to lay out that she wants her money back from the defendant. She loaned him a certain amount of money so that he could pay for his mother's headstone after his mother passed away. As we're going to see from the defendant, he still is caught within that vortex of being a simp. He still does not understand why he got left. So anyway, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
Plaintiff Jennifer Pogan dated the defendant for 4 years, and while living together, their relationship became toxic.
Now, the narrator states that while living together for 4 years, their relationship eventually became toxic. All that really means is that the plaintiff became frustrated at his inability to provide for himself and for her. No matter how much the society gets engineered to make the woman believe that she's equal to the man, it's within her DNA programming to understand that the man is above her and that he's supposed to preside over the household. I personally would never recommend for a man to initiate a serious relationship with a woman who was even making much more money than him, much less with him not being able to provide for himself. Eventually, the woman's natural aura and her natural essence is going to kick in. She's going to look at that man and say, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why is it that you cannot keep up with me? Because that's how the woman has been trained. She's trained to look at the man as her competition. She no longer considers herself a compliment to the man. And I promise you, if they were together for 4 years, 3 of those years, the last 3 years, she looked at him like a piece of shit. And she was trying to figure out, how do I get out of this? A lot of times these fake nice girls, they try to figure out how they can get away from a man that they wanted to leave for a very long time. And they might do certain things to try to communicate subliminally or subconsciously to that man that he's not living up to expectations, as we're going to see over the course of this case.
Jennifer claimed she and the defendant fought constantly about money and the company she kept.
Well, the reason why she kept certain company was because of the money issues. Those were not two separate issues. You'll be amazed how easily the woman is able to cut off other men once she understands that you're bringing something to the table that no other man is bringing, whether it's finances or other things. But at the end of the day, still as a man, once again, I'm talking to you so-called black man, we have to monitor everything that's going on around us, starting with the woman that you believe is your woman.
And she's suing him for a vet bill and the cost of a headstone. Defendant Sean Kaufman says while dating Jennifer, she was constantly having secret conversations with one specific man.
Right, but if the bro was consistently having quote-unquote secret conversations with one dude, whose fault is that? That's your fault. That's not her fault. Because if you're living with a chick, the first time that you catch her talking to the next man, you're supposed to be saying to yourself, okay, I got to get the fuck up out of here. Because eventually this broad is going to either kick me out or leave. That's all that's going to happen if a woman is talking to the next dude and she's maintaining you financially. If for no other reason, that should have been the force that prompted him to get his ass up off the couch and get something done.
Sean claims even after she agreed to stop speaking with this man, he caught Jennifer texting him.
That means the guy was hitting your woman. That's all that means. If she could not stop communicating with that guy, that means that was the dude that was tapping your woman's ass, okay?
They broke up. Sean denies owing Jennifer.
All rise.
And by the way, I'm sure that she called him a quote-unquote male friend.
This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding.
I'm so sick and tired of Judge Mathis and that fake-ass men's weave that he has on his head, that fake-ass afro.
You may now be seated.
Start with you.
We dated for 4 years.
You mean you guys were fucking for 4 years? Really only 6 months. The last 3.5 years, maybe if you were drunk, you were horny for the guy that you were secretly texting and he wasn't around, you might throw him some coochie. But you guys were not quote-unquote dating for 4 years.
We decided to live together. We started a relationship while we lived together.
They started a relationship while they were living together. You know what that tells me? One or both of them were desperate as hell. One of them needed help financially and the other one was probably lonely. The chick was probably lonely and the dude was broke as shit. So she said, you know what, let me see if I can make this work. He's a sweet, nice guy. I'll help him out. He'll get a job. Maybe we can make something happen.
Realized that relationship was not going correctly.
Wasn't going correctly because he wasn't making any money. Everything is always about the money at the end of the day.
Well, at first, Sean didn't have a job, so I decided to get a second job to support us financially.
That's a damn shame. You got a woman living with you and you're making her get 2 jobs and you don't have one. That's pathetic.
Couldn't he get one job?
Well, he just moved back from Florida, so he couldn't find...
You got a second one after
Yes.
he came, right?
Yes. So...
Hey, brothers, you never ever uproot yourself and move to another environment unless you already have a job or some type of steady income waiting for you. I don't give a shit what it is. A lot of cats follow around these women from city to city, state to state, and they just up and quit their job in the name of quote-unquote love. Then they land in some new destination, can't find a new job, and that creates all types of enmity within the household. The woman will lead you by the nose if you allow it. You cannot allow it. You cannot allow it.
He had the same amount of time as you to get one job for
Yes.
you to get 2. All right.
So I decided to do the 2 jobs, and I realized within that 4 years of that relationship that it was just getting too much.
Bullshit. You realize within the first 6 months that this was not the guy that you wanted to be with for the long term. But you probably did not have that many options, so you stuck it out for 4 years so that you could act like the victim. Oh, woe is me. I was providing for this guy for 4 years, blah, blah, blah.
It was getting too toxic. It was
Like what?
getting, we would get into arguments about the financial or who I have hung out with. It was just getting too much. So I decided to move back to my parents' house.
That's the new thing nowadays. You have these people 30, 35, 40 years old, 45 years old, damn near 50, moving back in with their parents. I guess that the financial times or the economic times are so hard that people have to do what they have to do, but you even have people who have decent jobs living with their parents now. 47 years old, going into your parents' refrigerator, drinking up all the goddamn orange juice and milk straight out the bottle. I mean, come on, man. Standing in front of the open refrigerator in your drawers and a pair of flip-flops.
After that,
When did you move back to your parents?
after the 4 years, so around like 2017.
All right. But you all still dated after?
Let me say this. I think the main reason why she moved back in with her parents after 4 years is because that other guy that she was fucking didn't want to allow her to move in with him.
Well, we talked, we hung out a little bit, but we didn't date.
Okay.
So you guys, you was thinking to yourself, maybe I could kind of sort of try to make this work if he gets a job. but I'm not giving him no more pussy until he get a job.
So what has happened since then? 17. You all maintain a friendship?
We tried to. Yeah, we tried to maintain a friendship, but it just didn't work out.
Because there's no such thing as male-female friends. I don't understand why they keep trying to perpetrate this fraud on the masses of the people. We tried to maintain a friendship, but it just didn't work out. How the fuck y'all gonna have a friendship when y'all fell out and you said the relationship was toxic? Of course, every time he speaks to you, he's still mad.
It wasn't. We kept on arguing about things, and it was just going downfall from that.
Okay.
You wanted him to accept that she was moving on to some new dick, and he was not willing to accept that.
From you, sir.
Like Jen said, the relationship started off okay. I did move back from Florida to New York after my mom had passed away. So when I moved back, I didn't, I looked for work. Eventually, I did find a job.
How long?
Only a few months, actually. So it didn't take too long to find a job. But after my mom passed away, financially, I was in a very bad situation. Jen and I had been friends before. And then when I moved back, we started dating.
So you used to fuck up before you moved to Florida, and you figured you picked right up where you left off when you moved back because she still didn't have a man.
Right at first, then I find out she's talking to another guy on the phone. A guy that also seems to have had some kind of problem with me. She had hour-long, 2-hour-long conversations in secrecy, like outside the apartment, and I had no idea what was going on.
Well, here's the problem with that. You living with a woman who's having 2-hour-long conversations about you with a dude that don't like you. What should that tell you? Now, if you're a simple-minded dude, you're saying to yourself, let me find out who this guy is so I can go whoop his ass. If you're an intelligent guy, you're saying to yourself, why is my woman on the phone with a guy who don't like me for 2 hours talking about me? Either she agrees with him in some way, shape, or form, or she's fucking him, or both. Either way, it's time for me to mosey on up out of here.
So every time I would try to discuss this with Jennifer, she would get very defensive, laid as if it was my fault.
Because she did believe that it was your fault. You know, brothers, I make these videos so that you guys don't get caught up in dumb shit like this. Because stuff like this leads to domestic violence, domestic abuse, and incarceration. When you try to discuss things that already pretty much have been laid out, like there are some issues that don't really need to be discussed. She's not feeling this dude anymore. She doesn't respect him because he's not making money. And he wants to go back to how things were in the first 3 months when he laid on the couch watching the football game and she came and sat down with him and they had sex at halftime and all that other silly shit. And then she got up, got dressed, and went to work. And he just stayed on the same spot on the couch till she came back home. Like, people really think that shit's gonna last for years and years. That shit's not gonna last, man. It's okay. She found somebody else that she's interested in. Make yourself a better person and move on and be better for the next person instead of dwelling on old shit.
And yeah, it led to a lot of arguments. This did go.
Ain't nowhere in the world a man's supposed to be arguing with a woman. If you're a grown man, you operate according to rationale and reason to the best of your ability. Things are pretty much already laid out for you. Arguing is based on feelings and emotions. If you're going back and forth with a woman about her feelings, you're already going to lose.
Off for a few years, and I had caught her texting the same gentleman again for about the third or fourth time.
Okay, so what should that tell you?
And that was
saw the text.
I'm sorry? I didn't read the actual text. I just saw that he was texting her. So she had actually promised me that she wasn't going to talk to this gentleman anymore. So I took that as a sign of good faith.
Well, that's another mistake. Why would you take anything as good faith from what a modern day female says? If you were that offended by what she was doing, you tell her, okay, if you're going to keep texting this guy, we're over. And at that point, she's supposed to say either she's going to continue to text him and initiate a relationship with him, or she's going to stop and you guys can attempt to move forward. But at that point, see, you got to realize, man, there's so many complexities. Once again, I just give you my perspective. It is what it is. People could disagree. I really don't give a shit. You have your right to disagree. But at this point, in this society, how it's currently configured, females, they just have way too much access to too many things. The more options that a woman has the more confused she is. Women are confused by nature. Women are easily confused, but now you have social media and smartphones and things of that nature. If you're going to be in a quote-unquote serious relationship with a woman, once again, you cannot really call yourself that woman's man unless you have her password to a phone, to a social media like Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook and all that other shit, because she's getting hit up on all these different platforms. And you know how these broads are. They are attention mongers. They're on the internet trying to be Instagram models and all this other shit, putting on 10 layers of makeup and filters, trying to seduce people and get thumbs up and likes and all that dumb shit. Meanwhile, you at home not knowing what the fuck is going on. I mean, if you one of those guys who takes these situations seriously without having an understanding of what time you're in and what place you're at. So if you're not careful, you'll end up like this guy right here. You have to know when it's time to unplug.
Finding out that this was still going on after a few years was a very...
She ever saying they dated in the past or the...
No, they did not. They did not.
Not that you know of. Not that you know of. They've never dated in the past.
But in my opinion is if you're in a relationship with somebody and you're living with that person and you're going to make it a point to not talk to this other person after we're broken up, that's fine. But if this person is trying to get involved in a relationship, because she did state that he was basically bad-mouthing me and trash-talking me.
Right, but that's the male friend. The first thing that the quote-unquote male friend is going to tell the chick is why she should leave him and how she should go about leaving him. That's the point of her having a quote-unquote male friend in the first place, that she would confide about her relationship to. Subconsciously, she actually wants that male friend to tell her to leave, so that when it does come time for her to leave, she feels like she has someone else to go to. That's the point the whole time. That's why I always constantly state, if you're dealing with a female who claims to have a male friend, that's not someone to take that seriously. That's a concubine. That's not a wife material woman. And in this day and age, 99% of these females are going to claim that they have some type of quote-unquote male friend, or that they should be able to do what they feel like doing. That's okay. You have to go with the flow when it comes to certain things. Just understand who you are, stay centered, put the Most High first. Because if not, you'll end up being one of these so-called black men on TV, having shot the woman, shot the new guy, killed yourself. There's no need for all that. None of these broads are worth anywhere near all that.
Cheated on Sean. I never said anything bad about Sean.
What were those 2 hours about?
It was just on and off conversation about car shows or people.
That's not true.
I can't.
Of course that's not true. Who the fuck on the phone with some dude for 2 hours talking about car shows? Ain't that many damn car shows in America?
No.
No, that's not true. In fact, Jennifer even told me that the gentleman had some disparaging things to say about me.
Yes.
That you won't believe me. Okay.
I had your back
You also
on
didn't
that.
defend me. You're not going to defend your boyfriend that you're living with, so how am I supposed to trust you at that
I
point?
had your...
That's why you should have left the house, man. At that point, you were supposed to be out. That was really her passive-aggressive way of communicating to you that she wants you out. That's why she told you that the dude was bad-mouthing you in the first place. Because subconsciously, she wanted to imply to you that I'm on the phone with this guy for 2 hours and he's bad-mouthing you, and supposedly she's sticking up for you, but she's still listening. So she likes that dude. It's okay. Go be with that dude. Most of these chicks are going to end up 60 years old. I did a video about this featuring Miss Tatum O'Neal, the former child actress star of the 1970s, who basically spent a portion of the segment rhapsodizing about John McEnroe, her ex-husband, and stating that that was the worst mistake of her life, leaving him. It's okay. Let these women get caught up in the new guy who's texting them and so on and so forth. Most of them don't realize the mistakes that they've made until they're in their mid to late 50s. Once again, the woman does not start to mature until she's 45 years old. I don't give a shit who don't like that.
On that, though.
That's not what you told me.
Okay.
I asked you, did you stick up for me? You actually said no. And that was kind of the end of that. And that was a long conversation. And then you said, all right, I won't talk to him because I wanted to deal with it. I wanted to deal with it on my own. Okay? Because if somebody is going to have negative things to say about me, I'm going to stand up for myself. And you asked me not to. I said, fine, I won't say anything to him. And you promised you wouldn't talk to him anymore. And then I find out that you're talking to him at least 2 or 3 more times. Explain to me how I'm supposed to trust you after that.
Well, you're not supposed to trust her after that. But once again, brothers, the Most High sends these side dudes a lot of times. He allows them to intermingle into certain situations that you're trying to cultivate to warn you. That's why that happens. You're on the phone with some chick that you think you're talking to or trying to take serious, and she tells you that she has a male friend from work or things of that nature. The Most High put the spirit on her to tell you that so that you know not to take her seriously. You're not supposed to be trying to approach this guy and fight this guy. Once again, she's supposed to know to not have that dude. But most of these females, they have to keep their options open because that's what their mother taught them. That's what their auntie taught them. That's what their homegirls teach them. To have as many men available as possible and have them all vying for their affection. Any so-called men who spend their time competing with other men or other males for one woman, that's not a man. That's, come on now. You're supposed to extricate yourself from that environment immediately. Oh, no problem. You talking to that dude? Good luck. Goodbye. Watch how quick she call you back or text you back. Oh no, I didn't. It's not like that. Well, how the fuck is it? Oh no, I'm just saying I know him for 15 years. Okay, well go know him for another 15 years. Click. That's all. You're not supposed to go back and forth with a broad about that shit, man. There's supposed to be too many things that you're trying to accomplish in your life to get caught up in nonsense like that.
That way.
You want to handle things is not with words. You know that for a fact.
And that's even more of a reason you should have stopped talking with the man. Nonetheless, that's your...
Absolutely. Even Judge Mathis understands how disrespectful that is. But most of these modern day females, they don't grasp that. And that's okay. The woman is supposed to come out of the box already assembled, man. No assembly required. No, on your birthday or Christmas, when you celebrated Christmas, or if you celebrated Christmas back when you was a kid, you get certain toys that you had to put together and other ones that was already put together. You just had to put the batteries in there. That's how a grown woman is supposed to be. If there's certain things that she don't understand, she's never going to understand it. She's just letting you know how you're supposed to cast her or slot her in your life. Period.
Of handling things, and however it occurred, unfortunately, he says that's one of the primary reasons for you all breaking up. Did you know that?
I guess so. Yes.
You guessed?
She knew, but she didn't care. She wanted him gone. That was the point of her talking to the other dude so extensively in the first place. She's passive aggressive. She most likely is not confrontational. She didn't want to tell the defendant that she was no longer happy in the relationship, so she was trying to send little signals.
Yes.
I can't be with somebody I don't trust.
You couldn't... You didn't want to be with him anymore?
I was just... financially, no.
Okay.
Honestly, I didn't want to support 2 people in a relationship.
And that's understandable. He should have got his lazy ass up and got a job from jump, or had a job already before he started a serious relationship. You never initiate a serious relationship, or any relationship for that matter, unless you're financially stable.
You'd have had to support the other man too? He didn't work either.
He was broke too.
You had to get some men their word.
I felt like I had to support Sean and myself in the relationship.
Yourself. Okay.
Yes.
All right, tell me about what you're suing him for, the vet bill and the headstone.
Well, the vet bill, he was away for at a car show doing a job, and I had to take care of his dog, and unfortunately that dog had a seizure, so I had to bring it to the vet. And I told Sean that we're bringing it to the vet, and there was going to be a bill, and since it was his dog, he said he was going to pay for that bill. That vet bill came out to $1,054. So I started paying that every month, and then it went on to my credit report because I thought it was paid for, but it wasn't.
Okay, we got the vet bill. Now what about the headstone?
The headstone, that was $2,389.
Tell me what happened.
Well, I figured that everyone deserves a headstone when they pass away. So I found out that his mom unfortunately passed, and I heard that his mom didn't have a headstone. So I told Sean, I said, all right, let's get your mom a headstone.
And that's when he was supposed to say no thank you. Your mother's already in the ground. If you don't have the money to pay for her headstone, then you save up until you can pay for her own headstone. A lot of people borrow money from people who want to give them these fake nice gestures. No thank you. Keep your money. That's how you stay out of court. Most of these people are fake nice. They're not really nice. Most people just try to perform these fake little gestures so that they can feel better about themselves, not so that they can really help somebody else.
And he's told me that he was going to pay that back to me. He was going to give me that money to pay that back. So we went to go get a headstone for his mother. I haven't heard anything about my money getting back. I tried to message Sean about it.
Well, you knew the man hasn't had a job since he moved back up from Florida. So you gave him all that money figuring what? You was going to get the money back in the year 2047? I mean, come on.
Agreed that he owes me that money. He even agreed that he was going to give me $25 a month.
Okay, let me hear his side, sir.
Okay, so Jennifer never said, you know, you owe me this money. Jennifer was in care of my dog when I was away working. So I felt she would have taken it under her responsibility. Was it my dog? Yes, she was watching my dog. As far as the headstone,
what did your dog suffer from? I mean,
she was diabetic.
Was it?
She was diabetic. She was she was the most adorable little thing. She was a little miniature pincher. She was diabetic, and then I don't know.
Okay.
We still don't know even exactly what happened. She was having seizures. She went to the vet. She was in the vet for about 24 hours. They gave her back to us and said she was fine. That night, same thing, and she was suffering. So we went back to the vet. They wanted over $2,000 more just to look at her.
We had little Terry, right?
Yeah.
Had a stomach problem and was throwing up, wasn't eating. Took to the vet. X-ray to look for a blockage. No blockage. That was whatever it cost, $500. Dog kept doing it. Little bitty dog laying around. Take him back to the vets. A different vet. Next thing, take it to the dog hospital. You know, there's dog hospital where you have just like surgeons and everything, X-ray technicians and everybody else. They determined that the dog had an ulcer. You know how much it costs to determine that and have it treated? $7,000.
Yep.
My pops has spent at least $20,000 on his dog.
But that's got to get paid. Headstone.
As Jennifer said, when she found out that my mom didn't have a headstone, my mom passed away in 2012. Like I said, I moved back from Florida. I was in Florida to take care of her. My mom didn't have anything when she died, and neither did I. So it was something that I was planning on doing at some point. And Jen and I were together. She said, no, your mother deserves a headstone. Let's go. It was her idea to go and get the headstone. So we went. And
at that point, you should have said, you know, I may never be able to pay you back. And see how she responds to that. When people try to put forth these gestures and you have no real intention on paying them back, you have to let them know so that they're not in the position where they can play the victim.
Even when we were in the place that designs them and everything, and I'll admit I was crying like a 12-year-old girl, and I flat out said, I don't have the money for this. All she said was, don't worry about it, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. She said the same thing about the vet bill, don't worry about it. Because this was actually during a time when things were okay with us.
You missed the last.
Yeah, all that up and down stuff that these guys tolerate in these relationships where they bring stress upon themselves. Stop blaming the woman. It's about what you tolerate. It's not about what she's doing to you. It's about what you tolerate.
Words, that's all.
What's that?
Right now.
Oh, right now.
See, he missed it.
Well, you're right. You're 100% right.
You didn't hear that
4 or 5 years ago.
Even Mathis understands. When she said, oh, no, you don't have to pay me, under her breath, she probably said, right now.
Years ago, don't worry about it, don't worry about it, don't worry about it.
Right now. She said, don't worry about it right now.
Okay, but so now, 5 years later.
Yeah, man, why do you wait so late?
Well, I was just trying to give him time because I did walk out on him on the...
Bullshit. You was trying to give him time because you wanted to keep him in play or just in case you never found a man to replace him. You most likely are with a new man now, so now you're trying to close off all your varying accounts. He owes you money, so now you're going to take him to court. You're already with your new man, you're getting some new dick. Your new man probably has a decent job, so you good.
I did walk out on him on the apartment. I was just trying to give him time to settle and...
At least she admitted that she walked out on him in the apartment. All these are signs that he was supposed to be reading a very long time ago.
She walked out on me twice, 2 different apartments.
I know.
And like Mr. Useless, I was lonely, I took you back twice.
That's the best thing that he said over the course of this entire case. For this entire segment, that's the best thing that he stated. Like Mr. Useless, I took you back twice. In other words, he finally started to take accountability for a lot of the fuckery that was going on in his life. That's the only way that things change. He realized that a quitter is going to quit. If somebody quits on you once, they're going to quit on you again. So always keep that in mind. If you take back a former friend, a former significant other, whoever, always understand that quitting is in their DNA. And in this case, as I've already stated, I have no problem with what she did because the dude was a shiftless bum. You can't go into a relationship with no job and expect a woman to respect you. But at least he's finally starting to understand some of his own personality flaws. It's only when we start to grasp those things that things start to get better.
So
well, that's because I didn't want to. I still cared about you, and
I cared about you too. That's all well and good, but
I didn't want you to be homeless.
That's fine. And I found a way to survive because that's what we do. So yes, I'm doing fine, and I did try to maintain a friendship with her, going to car shows with her, helping her with her truck because I work in an automotive repair shop. So every time she had an issue with her truck,
asking for her money then?
Nope, not once, not a single time.
Man.
And then it was only a few months ago that I'd randomly get a text from her, hey, we got to talk about this money. And
yeah, you got that text because she's getting some new dick.
yeah, I did say, you don't walk out on somebody and then years later ask them for money. That's not how these things work.
Let me see what you have.
That's not how things work for you.
With him agreeing to pay because you were going to read something.
And I organize a charity car show on Long Island to raise money for the American Diabetes Association. And a lot of time, Jennifer did help me with that. But never once did she say, we need to straighten this out.
Stop looking for sympathy. Everything is going to tell based on what you responded to her text with. Nobody's going to care about how much money you've made for diabetes and things of that nature.
Well, I figured that was the end of it, okay? And then, like I said, only a few months ago, I get a random text, we need to talk about this money.
Afternoon. I got a question for you. The money I loaned you back in the 60s. No.
I'm a 70s child, Your Honor. I'm a 70s child.
The money I loaned you for your mom's headstone, do I get that back or no? I'll do what's right, he says, since you made sure I had a roof over my head, even though you walked out on me twice and left me to rot. You got your deals on.
Dude still looking for sympathy. Talking about you walked out on me twice, leaving me to rot. Anytime you seek pity from another person, you can never expect them to respond with respect. If you want people to feel sorry for you, at best, that's what they're going to do. But pity does not equal respect. That woman would respect him if he gave her her money back and all of a sudden he appeared to get himself together, got his body in shape, got a new woman, got a nice ride. Then all of a sudden she starts sending him text messages wanting to get back together with him. That's the nature of the woman.
Because of me, and whenever you posted about them, never acknowledged my help. So stop trying to justify how much you've done for me to cover up how much you've done to me. You don't.
Well, there's some credibility to that. She definitely had a sense of guilt. That's why she paid for his mother's headstone, because she knew that she dipped out on him twice. But once again, how you laying up on the couch all day, not bringing home any money, and think the woman's going to respect you? The woman is carnal, man.
Someone in a garbage disposal and then say, pay me back.
Right, but if she left you in a garbage disposal, that means that you understand that you're garbage. If you're a trash individual, get your shit together.
You'll get your GD money when I'm GD ready. And don't you, GD, bring it up to me again.
I'm a little graphic at times, Your Honor.
I can afford $25 a month. So you agreed that you would pay her $25 a month. And have you paid anything on this $25 a month?
No, so we haven't had any contact since then, since those texts. I haven't seen her. I actually, if you go further into the text, I did say, let's spend time together and show me that you actually want to be in my life.
In other words, you were trying to use her texting you as inroads to start the relationship back over again. That same toxic relationship where you claim that she left you for dead twice. So you're still a glutton for punishment. Brothers, please learn from shit like this. Please. If the woman quits on you once, she'll quit on you again. Quitters quit. That's a sign to you that you have to elevate who you are as a person. That's all that is.
And we can move forward amicably with this. But she's made no attempt.
Say raise that to 100?
Actually, there was no counter.
Well, you blocked me from everything.
Not from texting. You still have my number.
Yeah.
I blocked you on social media. That was it.
Sounds like a good guy to me. It's saying he's going to pay you. He's mentioning his grievances, but he's also mentioning the way he's going about it to that last couple sentences.
That's why you...
Judgment for the plaintiff. He agreed that he would pay you $25 a month. That to me is an acknowledgement that he owes you. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Honestly, I'm nothing. I'm just going to go my own separate way. I'm sorry that I went like this. I hope you have the best in your future.
Well, basically, I feel the same way. We've had zero contact since, New Year's Eve. I haven't seen you.
In other words, he's still wondering why he hasn't seen her since New Year's Eve. Bro, she has new dick in her life. Get over it. But anyway, just getting back to the point, brothers, never let a woman maintain you. So peace.